Hi, this is Dave and welcome to the Table, and today we're going to be taking a look at the best treehouse ever, a project that's currently on Kickstarter, designed by Scott Alms and published by Green Couch Games. Now, the best treehouse ever is a drafting-based card game in which players are competing with each other to build the best treehouse ever. And the way that this is going to work is players are going to simultaneously draft and reveal cards, building their treehouse, attempting to keep the tree in balance, and also being able to connect similar room types together in order to score points. Let's take a look at this game, how it's played, and I'll come back and I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, here I have Best Treehouse Ever set up for 3 players. This is a prototype version of the game, so it doesn't reflect the final product that you'll be receiving. Now let's quickly talk about the components that come in the game, and then we'll get into how it's played. First thing that we have is our Treehouse deck, the cards here with the blue backs. And this is going to be comprised of a number of different rooms and different colors, and we're going to be using them to build our treehouse. Next, we have a scoring track, and that is going to be able to keep track of our progress throughout the game, so we'll know how many points that we have between rounds. We're going to have these scoring markers that will be able to be placed onto these scoring cards in between rounds that will affect the scoring. And then we have the scoring cards themselves, which will be affected by the scoring markers, but also provide some bonuses at the end of the game for scoring. The game also comes with a starting card for each player. This is the trunk of which the treehouse is going to be built, and each player is going to have 2 markers that they will be using during the game. One is going to be used as a balance marker, and the other one is for scoring. Now let's get into how the game is played. At the start of the game, each player is going to take their starting tree, place it in front of them, and place one of their markers in the center space here, and this is now known as the balance marker for this tree. The other marker is going to go on to the 0 on the scoring track. Each player is also going to be dealt a starting hand of 6 cards, and these are the various types of rooms that will make up our treehouse, and they will be noted by the different symbols that are in the upper corner. For example, this green one is an outdoor room, so we have a hammock room. We have blue ones, which are water rooms, so we have a water slide. We have purple rooms, which are entertainment rooms, which here we have a music room. And we have educational rooms, the yellow ones. Here's a library, we have a model railroad. And there are also going to be activity rooms, which are red, and food rooms, which are brown. Now each player is going to, in turn, draft cards. What they will do is take one card from them, place it down in front of them. When they've done so, they will simultaneously reveal the card that they drafted, and then we will place it into our treehouse, starting at the first level. And depending upon where we place these into the treehouse, it's going to affect this balance marker. If we place a room on the left center spot of the treehouse, it's going to cause our balance marker to move 1 space to the left. If we placed it to the right, it's going to cause it to move 1 space to the right. Once we've drafted our cards and we've placed them in the treehouse, we will pass the cards around to the left, and we're going to do the same thing again. Each player will in turn draft a card and place it down in front of them. We'll do a simultaneous reveal to see what types of rooms that we have placed in here. And in the first round, it's pretty simple because we can place it on the other side to move the balance marker. But one thing that we have to take note of, each of these different colors of cards, as we place them, the first color, or the first card of a specific color, can be placed anywhere in the tree, but all subsequent rooms must be touching. So, for example, with this apple nursery, we'd have to have a card that will eventually be built here or touching here. If I place this here, I could do this and give me more flexibility, but it's going to make it a little more difficult in being able to have options to chain out cards further over. But they have to be touching each other. Once we place a card in the tree, then, depending upon if it's left or right of center, we will then in turn move the balance marker. And this is going to continue until we end up drafting cards that we will have I'll just place these out so we can see as the treehouse is being built how the balance marker is going to be affected. So that would be like the third card that was drafted. We'll place this one here. This one goes over here, and this one we'll place here. So I'll adjust the balance markers right now. And one thing that I wanted to note here on these two cards, these two players, when I placed their rooms in the treehouse, it was directly over the center of the starting tree, and this balance marker will not move when it's placed there. This one, the card was over on the left side and we built on the right. It is because of being placed on the right, it will move it over. At the end, when we have placed 4 cards, we will have 2 cards passed to us in our hand, and what we're going to do is we're going to choose one to draft, and the other one will be discarded. So we'll place this one here in the center. And this would complete the first round of our drafting, and the next thing that is going to happen is that each player, starting with the oldest in the first round, they will in turn choose one of these scoring markers to place on these cards to affect the scoring between the rounds. There's 2 different types. We have a card that can be played that says this room type does not score for this round, or we can have one this round each player scores 2 points per room in this treehouse type. So looking at the different configurations of cards here, let me put another, let me build another room on each one so we can see what we're working on. And so looking at the other players and what are our options, the oldest player will choose first, and we'll look at ourselves and look at the other players and try to make the best decision as to how it's going to swing the points. This particular player, if we choose to try to score 2 points for the green rooms, we're going to get 2 points. This player over here is also has 2 rooms, so they're going to score big points there. We could try to stop this player from scoring any red points, or maybe we'll go with the purple points, and that will affect both players. So the decision comes as to what do we want to do. This player is going to choose to block off the purple rooms. And then it's going to be this player's turn. What are we going to do? Are we going to try to score points for any of these other rooms? Are we going to try and block somebody? And so you have to make that decision. Maybe they decided that we have a brown card here. They have 2 brown. Maybe they want to block that one off. And it's going to leave the option here for this last player has to choose one of those, the room that is going to score double points. So we have green, we have blue, and we have yellow. No matter what, this guy is going to end up scoring some points. And probably just because he's going to get shut out on points, we'll choose to score 2 points per room for the yellow. So what will happen is going through each room type, we will score points between the rounds. 1 point for each green room that you have. So this one here will score 2 points. This one will score 2 points. He won't score any. We go through the brown, will not score any points, so it doesn't score. Blue will get 1 point, so this one will get 1. Yellow will score 2 points per room. This one will score 2 points. He'll score 2 points. He won't get any. The red room, this player over here will score 2 points. And the purple one is not going to score this round. So you can see that there's an opportunity for everybody to get points in the room, depending upon how you build your treehouse. Now, at the end of that scoring round, each player will then in turn receive 6 more cards, and they will continue the drafting, and the process is going to continue for scoring throughout the game. One thing that is important to note, if you have a hand of cards and you are not able to place a card, let's say for example that we ended up with a configuration where maybe we were built like this and the oh, that's not going to work really good that way. We've got a green one here. I'm just configuring this up so you can see a specific thing. Let's say all we had was blue cards being passed our way. So we have maybe 3 cards that came to us in our hand, and these were our only options for drafting. The only place that we can place this blue card is going to cause this tree, we're going to be on the left hand side, and as you can see here, that this tree would be out of balance. We can't place it. What we would have to do then is discard this card face up, and we'd have to pass these cards over and continue on the drafting. So you may potentially not be able to have a specific room going into your treehouse. So it's going to affect how you're drafting. But that's going to be a key to this particular game, is being aware of your balance marker there. What's going to happen is over the course of the game, we will be placing up to 15 cards into our treehouse, building it in a pyramid, and we can only go up to 5 levels on our treehouse. This does not count. So right now we have 3 complete levels we could continue to build on. Once we've completed the 3rd round of scoring with the scoring markers, let's say they were like this, we will take those off, and then awards will be given at the end for each room type. Whoever has the majority of that particular type of room, so whoever has the most green rooms, will gain this trophy, and will get an additional 1 point per room. So these outdoor rooms. If there's a tie between the number of rooms, let's say for example here that this one had 3 green cards, this one had 3 green cards, because there's a tie, nobody will get it, and we just flip it face down. And we're going to do that for each of the different room types. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points will be the winner, and that's how you play Best Treehouse Ever. All right, let's talk about the best treehouse ever. And the first thing that I want to say is, man, Scott Alms is on fire. I don't know where this guy is coming up with all of these ideas, but over the past couple years, man, he has really churned out some solid titles with the Tiny Epic series and with Harbor, and now we have the best treehouse ever. And for Green Couch Games, this is a great sophomore publishing project for them, following up behind Fidelitas, because what they're doing is putting a lot of game in a small package. And so here we have the best treehouse ever. And the first thing that I want to talk about is the visual appeal of this game, because the artwork is phenomenal. You've got super bright colors, lots of happy children, lots of green for the tree. And so thematically, it builds the game with all these really cool rooms, and visually just makes the game look awesome and even appealing to families because of the artwork. And as the game is being played, and as the treehouse is building itself and the game is unfolding, people that are walking by are going to take notice of the game and stop and look, just because of the visual appeal of it. And the cool thing with this game is not only does it look good, but it also plays good. And for me, I feel that it appeals to a broad spectrum of players, from people that are newer to drafting games all the way up to those who are pretty seasoned with them, because some of the elements in this game are going to give them a run for their money. Let's talk about the core drafting mechanic in this game and why I think that it will appeal to people who are newer to the drafting games, is that you are essentially drafting cards based upon a color and building a puzzle, opposed to drafting cards that may have abilities on there and knowing what all the cards do and any kind of card synergy. And so this makes this a lot simpler in being able to understand the concept of drafting, because you're pulling pieces trying to build a puzzle. Now, for the more experienced drafter, this game has some other elements that are going to give you a challenge, and also even bring up those who are new to drafting games. And what sets this game apart is the balance mechanic here that's down at the bottom, with this balance token that moves back and forth, because that little cube is going to have a major effect on this game. It's going to have a major effect on the cards that you choose, the cards that you're going to pass along, and the placement of your cards that in your treehouse. And so this is what gives the game its meat, because as you're placing cards in the treehouse, that marker is going to move, and depending upon the position that it's in, it's going to limit the cards in your hand as to what you can play. And it's also going to put you in a position of having to make some decisions later on of placing a card in order to move the balance marker at the expense of cutting off a specific room type, or putting you in a position where you have nothing to play and you're forced to discard a card. And that could be really, really bad, because you will be at a disadvantage for the number of rooms that you have in your treehouse, and potentially could cost you at the end of the game of not being able to score for a specific room type, because you might be short that one card, and so you may lose out on some end of game bonus scoring. And so this whole balance mechanic really is going to have a major factor on how the game is played, and that's, you know, that is what makes the game what it is. And it also does a nice job of making a drafting game fun for two players, because for me personally, when I play a drafting game, the more the merrier. And typically when you're playing a two-player drafting game, you know half the cards, and so it doesn't really seem to be any fun. But this one here, at least when you're pulling cards out, that balance mechanic is going to hold it together. Now, the other thing that is cool about this game is the ability to manipulate the scoring, because you have the options to have certain rooms score double and certain rooms don't score any. And you know, outside of the first round where the oldest player picks, you know, whoever's out in front is going to be in control of manipulating that board, and so it's going to really make you think about getting as many points as possible. And placing those scoring tokens in between rounds is a lot more difficult than it seems, because you want to make sure that you want to maximize your points, because the scoring is going to affect everybody. And so that's going to be another thing that you're going to have to think about. So the two major things that this game makes you think about: the cards that you're going to place here, and then the manipulating of scoring. And so, so it's really going to give your brain an exercise. Now, looking at this game from a family perspective, and why would a family want to add the best treehouse ever to their game library? Well, I'll tell you. First of all, we've got a theme that is family friendly with building a treehouse. So there's nothing that's going to cause any kind of controversy or anything like that. It makes it look fun. It's visually appealing. But the game itself is going to really exercise your brain, because you're thinking in your mind about building a puzzle. You are having to think ahead, because and every turn you have to make the best decision possible, because that balance marker can cut you off. If this game didn't have that, it would just be a matter of like, oh, I'm just going to collect these pieces and go. But it's going to really press your brain to make some lot of good decisions. So the decision-making skills are going to be developed in this game, both with the drafting the cards and manipulating the scoring there. And then also, this game is a good primer for moving on to more complex drafting type games. And so so it's a stepping stone. And also, for a family who's already playing games, this is another game that can be used as you can use it as a filler or a quick after dinner game. Or you can, if you decide one day you're going to play a number of light games all together, this is something that can easily be brought out as well. So those are the things that why a family would want to add this particular game to their library. Overall, for me, this is a really, really solid game. I find it enjoyable and challenging at the same time. Something that I'm really excited about. I really like Scott Allen's work, and this is another one that does not disappoint. And so if you are interested in this particular game, I will have the information in the video description below. You can go over and check out their project on Kickstarter and support it if you so wish, and help bring this project to life. All right, that's it for now, and join me again next time as we take a look at another game and we see how it makes it to the table. Bye-bye.